Hi guys, it's James from DivyneCrochet. Welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to do surface crochet. Surface crochet is one of my favorite techniques. It's an embroidery technique used quite commonly in crochet to make designs and patterns. This technique is very beginner friendly and easy to use, so I've used this for quite a long time. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys everything you need to know about surface crochet. I'll also be showing you guys surface crochet done on different stitches so you can see how things might vary when you work surface crochet on different types of crochet stitches. Before we get into the video, please make sure you're subscribed and like and comment on this video if you find it helpful. Without any further ado, let's get into how to surface crochet. So the first way that I'm going to show you is just going to be a line of surface crochet. So as you can see in this bag, I've just added a few lines to add a little bit more interest and to brighten up the bag. I'm going to demonstrate this method on a panel of single, double and mesh stitches, but obviously you can do this method on whatever you want to. I would just recommend that if you're a beginner, maybe you stick to single or double crochets. So with surface crochet, we're going to start with a slip knot as we do with most of our crochet projects. I'm just showing you here how I do mine. Once you've done your slip knot, you want to enter your hook and tighten your slip knot a little bit, but you want to make sure it's quite loose. Once you're happy with that, you can go ahead and remove your hook. Now you just want to insert your hook into the panel where you want your surface crochet to start. You then want to take your slip knot and put it around your hook without tightening it. You then want to pull that through. And because I'm going to be working up my row, I'm going to go into the next available single crochet above, pull up a loop, and then pull that through the slip knot I have at the start. We are now going to find the stitch above where we've just entered, insert our hook, pull up a loop, and pull that through. For a neat line, you want to make sure that you're working up a stitch at a time. This will make sure that the little V's that you're creating on your surface crochet are even. Another important factor to consider is your tension. With surface crochet, you don't want to make these slip stitches too tight. You want to keep them pretty loose just because your fabric will stretch, and if your stitches are too tight, this might cause a little bit of bunching, which is obviously not what we want. So obviously you want your tension to be loose. I almost think of trying to make my loop long enough for me to go into the next hole pretty seamlessly, so that way nothing bunches. I also routinely stretch out my project just to check that my surface crochet isn't making my fabric any tighter than it is, and if it is, then I'll have to redo this section. With double crochet, what I'll do is I'll just do the same thing of going up a row each stitch, but I'll just stretch out these stitches to the same length as a double crochet. So you can go ahead and do 2 surface crochets into each double crochet if you want a slightly more compact V. But for me, I think the straight lines created by doing these longer stitches are a lot neater and nicer to look at. As I say, the most important thing with this method is just to make sure that your surface crochets is not making your fabric bunch together. Now, once you're happy with your row, we're ready to finish it off. So we're going to go ahead and cut our yarn. We want to keep a little bit extra just to sew in our ends. Then what we're going to do is take our hook out of the stitch that we were just in, and then we're going to insert our hook into the stitch in the panel that we're working through. Then we're going to take that loop and pull it through to the bad side. Then we can take our end, yarn over, pull through, tighten that up, and that's going to be how we finish off our row. For the majority of stitches, especially beginner stitches, really the easier way to do this form of surface crochet is to work along the row. But I thought I'd show you going up the row because that's going to be the one that causes you the most problems when you run into different stitches. But if you would like to do this technique, you just want to do the method that I talked about before, but instead of working up a stitch, you want to move along a stitch. Now we've learned the basics, I'm going to show you how you can create more interesting patterns like this swirl here, or something more elaborate like a graphic design such as this top that I've made here. I've made a separate tutorial just for this design. Please let me know if you guys want to see that. So this method is either something you can plan out or something you can freehand. For me, I'm just going to go ahead and freehand. So you have 2 ways to think about this. So for me, I would think in single crochets. I'm either going to go diagonally
up, down, left or right. So I'm not skipping any stitches, I'm just using my diagonals to create this swirl. But when it comes to other stitches, you can utilize the fact that there are multiple different ways that you can enter this stitch. So I would just follow the pattern that I want to create, trying to space out the stitches as evenly as I can, and I'll enter my hook wherever kind of feels natural for that spacing. This is going to be a problem if you have stitches with really wide gaps. So what I tend to do is I will do my surface crochet, and if the kind of stretch to go in the next place that I want to go is too far, I'll add a chain like that before then finding a new place to put my hook into. And that's going to be how we create these curved lines to create a design or a pattern. Now obviously I've been doing these stitches so they're very evenly spaced out, but I did want to show you that they don't necessarily have to be. You could vary the sizes of how wide you stretch your stitches to create a slightly different effect. You can experiment with both techniques to see which one you prefer. Another tip I thought I'd share with you guys is I'll always sew in my ends into the back of the surface crochet stitch. Now I just do this so the colour of your end doesn't bleed into the front of your panel, which can sometimes ruin the design that you've just made. To ensure that these are very secure, what I try and do with all of my ends is I'll try and insert my hook into some of the yarn that I've used for the ends, if that makes sense. So I'm not just weaving in my ends back and forth into the stitches, I'm actually going into the yarn that I'm weaving into the stitches. This creates more secure ends.
Thank you for watching this video. I hope you learned something and found it helpful. At some point I do want to do a video just dedicated to freehand crochet, so definitely keep your eyes out for that. Please like, comment and subscribe. I'm going to leave all my social media links down below. I hope you have a good rest of your day and I'll see you later. Bye.